Hello and welcome back. This is episode 4 of my Chicago White Sox rebuild series. We're about to start the 2027 season. It's opening day. I did go over the opening day roster at the end of the last episode, so if you didn't watch that, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, not a ton of big changes from season to season here. Just trying to keep building up our young guys here. Grant Taylor's going to be in the rotation this year. That's a big change, I think. Smith, Schultz, and Dollander all return, as does JP Sears, although he's not locked into that spot. We have a few new bullpen guys. And we do have the addition, or re addition, I guess, of Luis Robert Jr., who is back to play center field. He was our big free agent signing in the offseason. We also picked up Miguel Rojas, who's going to start the year at shortstop for us. We'll see if he sticks there. Yeah, those are the big overview items. I did put in a few waiver claims as well, as we've got some interesting looking guys in Joey Estes, Hurston Waldrep, and Ronnie Mauricio. And I think I put in one more as well. Edise Leonard, who, can play multiple positions and had a solid but not spectacular season last year for the Yankees, and also put in good numbers at AAA as well. So more depth than anything. We'll have to see how this season goes. So let's get into the season proper. Again, I usually sim through games. I'll probably do updates on the 1st and 15th of every month. Not going to do it in April because we'll only be 2 games in, but April 15th we'll probably get an update just to see how things are going for the first small stretch of the season there. And that's usually when I make adjustments in terms of calling guys up, sending them down. Of course, if there are big injuries, I'll usually stop to update that as well. Right now, the only big injury that we have is our top prospect, Liam Peterson, hurt for 5 to 6 weeks, but he was going to start the year in AA anyway. Still, we want to see him come back healthy and ideally get him up to the big leagues this year. But we'll have to see how his development goes post coming back from injury. Yeah. So, no other major things to report here. Let's go ahead and get into the season. All right, it is April 15th, and yeah, we are 7-6 so far to start the season. Um, not that far in, but I will certainly take that. Our starters have been excellent so far to start the season. Sub 3 ERA, good for second in the league. Our bullpen, not so good, just under 4 ERA, but still time for those to improve. And our batting war is third. Batting is going generally good overall. Our two guys who were supposed to be our, lockdown bullpen guys have struggled the most so far in Gratterall and Minter, but that's only over 4 and 2/3 and 3 and 2/3 respectively. So that's still a lot of time left for them to bring that ERA down. We'll see how that goes. Shane Smith has been solid, just over 4 ERA. Grant Taylor has been excellent in our experiment coming out of, or not coming out of the pen, putting up a .61 ERA in 3 starts so far, on pace for 8.1 pitching WAR. We may have a new ace on our hands potentially. We'll see. Noah Schultz, again, solid to start the year. Dollander had a really bad first start and then has recovered since then. Well, his first start he got suspended for ejected in the second inning, so he didn't really even have a chance to bring that ERA down further. We did end up winning that game though, so that means Parker Messick made a spot start in there, and he did well. So he'll probably be our sixth guy at the moment if we need another starter due to injury or guys struggling, what have you. And then in terms of our lineups, Brooks Baldwin has been on an absolute tear to start the season. .9 WAR so far, OPS over 1,000. There's no way he keeps that up the entire season, but still encouraging to see. Same with Kyle Teal putting up good numbers to start the season, and Chase DeLauder putting up good numbers to start the season. Murakami struggling to start the season, as is Joe Mack in limited playing time, and Vargas in our DH role at the moment. Everyone else, some degree of okay, including Rojas and Robert Jr., who, we want to provide some good value for us, given that they were our free agent signings this year. His OPS has not been great, but fielding has been good. So that's mainly what we signed him for, and that helps a lot when it comes to OOTP. Our defensive efficiency and zone rating are both looking good so far. Errors were 12th, but sometimes those errors do pop up when you have guys that have better range, like your Roberts and Rojas's, where they'll get to more balls, which means they'll make errors on more balls. Although Rojas has 0 errors to start the season. Who is leading our team in errors currently? They're spread out pretty evenly, it looks like. Colson Montgomery still learning how to play third. Still negative ZR there, but that should improve as the season goes on, and his bat has been good, so we'll deal with that. And then Murakami, we'll have to figure out what to do with him, as he's been a little disappointing so far. Not just talking about 2027, that's a small sample size, but 2026, where he finished with less than 1 WAR. I mean, we're paying him decent money. He wants a huge extension to stay. So he may be someone we look to trade, depending on what his value looks like. I think it's still early to be talking about that. He could definitely, turn things around, but not encouraging to start the season and to end last season too. Not too much else to go over here. I guess we'll go through the rest of April, and we'll see where things lie then. Okay, here is a surprising sight. May 1st, and we are 15-13, which is good for first place in the division. Everyone else is under 500, but we will still take that. It's been a good April so far. We'll go through here. Our rotation has been continued to be solid. More than solid, I'd say. First in starter ERA, our bullpen ERA has dropped down to 5th. Nice to see that improvement. Grant Taylor has gone up to a 4.33 ERA, so definitely want to keep an eye on that and see if maybe we want to tweak some things there. But everyone else, no concerns whatsoever. Even JP Sears, who was kind of a guy that I was just tossing in there to have a 5th starter, has been solid so far. Even our bullpen guys that have struggled, AJ Minter is no longer going to be our closer, at least for now. Low sample size, but still, I don't love the ERA to start. we're gonna have him work in middle relief for a little bit and see how that goes. And we're also going to make Gratterall our new closer. Um, Parker Messick has been putting up great numbers in the pen, 1.17 ERA and a FIP of 0.97. So we're going to try to use him as a stopper, see how that goes, given that he's got a decent mix and 45 stamina. Like, I think we could maybe make that work. He at least deserves a shot in some higher leverage situations. Everyone else kind of stays the same. Diaz, I thought about the DFA due to his super high ERA, but I do have him pitching against lefties, and against lefties, he actually has a 0 ERA. So I'm hoping that'll continue to go down as he ideally pitches against more left-handed guys. That's kind of his role. And yeah, I mean, we've got several left-handed arms. The majority of our bullpen is left-handed arms. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then our hitting has continued to do well, I'd say. Sixth, so we're at least average hitting. Brooks Baldwin has continued his hot streak. He's got 1.1 WAR already on the season. Kind of shifting him around. I had him playing second and third. Actually, I think he's back to second now. Yeah, so we'll set his position. I don't know. That's kind of a more of a what would you call that? Superstition, I guess. I don't know if guys actually play better when you set them to whatever role they're supposed to be playing. It's kind of like the old Pokemon games, if you remember, holding down B when you catch, when the ball is about to close, supposedly increase your chances of actually catching it. I'm pretty sure it didn't do anything, but anyway, that's my version of that in this game. I like to set guys to whatever position they're actually playing because I think it makes the most sense to do that. At least the position they're playing the most of the time. There's going to be guys that play multiple positions, and then you can't really determine that ahead of time. But Kyle Teal has gone cold, which is a little concerning, but I have faith that his numbers will improve as the season goes on. Sam Antonacci, who we called up due to a brief injury to Colson Montgomery, has been hitting well and likely deserves to stay at the big league level. Miguel Vargas has really struggled to start the season, negative .5 WAR, despite not, and very few of that is from his defense. That's solely due to his bad hitting. So he's going to get DFA'd and spend some time in AAA if he makes it through waivers. Everyone else has been okay. Still keeping an eye on Murakami as he has struggled to start the season. Yeah, he's kind of in danger of, if we've got some more AAA guys that are really, like Charlie Condon, it has really started the year off hot, and can play first base. So look out, Murakami. Your job may be in danger here. We are looking to compete this year. It looks like as we are 2 games over 500 and first in the division. So we're going to keep making moves to try and win games, which is fun. And prospect watch, Estes and Waldrip. I'm interested to see how they do in AAA. They were both waiver guys. They're both struggling a little bit to start in AAA. How about our other pitchers here? As Kevin Ginkel is hurt. Bryce Elder is a guy, he seems like a quad A kind of player more than it. I mean, he did okay at the big league level and then has put up really good numbers in AAA. So I don't really know what to think of him. He's a guy that I'll probably get a call up at some point. And then, yeah, Paez, I'm still interested to see if he can develop some more. He's still only 23 pitching at AAA. Um, and then Tanner McDougal, we're currently using as a closer, but he's doing well as a closer, so maybe that's kind of where he needs to be at the moment. I don't know. Given how he's struggled at the AAA and big league levels so far. But I have to imagine if we get some injuries in there, maybe I should force start him just to see if we can continue developing him as a starter. I don't know. Yeah, and then I feel like Hagen Smith is hurt. Chase Mydroth is hurt. Gabriel Arias is hurt. Who is a guy that we thought could maybe make the team. Um, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to keep an eye on AAA and kind of adjust things accordingly. Um, we may look to move on from Murakami while his value is still high. Um, and if Condon continues to hit well at the AAA level, like I don't know, I feel like he's not a guy that I would trust on a long term deal at the moment. So what does that leave? I mean, I guess that leaves us with if he turns things around and hits well, we keep him for the season. But otherwise, um, we would want to look to trade him and get whatever value we can before he hits free agency next year. So we'll have to see how that kind of plays out. He should still theoretically have value as a 3-star player, but we'll have to see how the CPU teams value him. Uh, yeah, let's get into May and see if we can continue this streak of good play. All right, we are to May 15th, and you may hear my cat purring in the background. We'll see if that picks up on the mic or not. But yeah, May has gone a little rough so far. We are 20 and 22 now, still hanging on to second place, 1.5 games behind the Royals. But yeah, slipped a little bit here as we've made a few slight tweaks to the rotation. I flip flopped Parker Messick and Grant Taylor as Taylor started to struggle and has continued to struggle, unfortunately, in the bullpen. But hopefully he'll turn things around here. I mean, he projects to be quite a good reliever arm, so we'll see how that goes. Parker Messick has done all right so far in a starting role. And yeah, JP Sears is kind of on watch as well as his ERA has gone to over 5 thanks to a not so great start. A few not so great starts, actually. But still, pitching is doing all right. Sixth is our starter ERA, fourth bullpen ERA. Pitching WAR overall is fifth. So, we are an above average pitching staff, which is better than last year. We did have an injury to Miguel Rojas. Not quite sure what to do with him, given that he's kind of slipped. His OPS has slipped down to just 57. We do appreciate the defense that he brings, but I don't know if that hitting is going to get it done. We've shifted Colson Montgomery back to shortstop in the meantime. That injury just happened, so we'll have to see how he does there. The corresponding call-up is Charlie Condon, who has done really well at AAA so far this season. And Murakami, as he continues to struggle, Condon's going to get some of those starts at first base. And we've kind of shifted guys around. Antonacci is going to play second, Baldwin at third. Caro also coming up to DH and be backup catcher as he's started the year well in AAA. We'll have to see if that actually carries over to the big leagues this year. But Joe Mack, unfortunately, has not carried over his good spring training performance to the big leagues, as across 11 starts, he's been below average. So he will go down to AAA. We'll see how Caro does. Yeah, and then anything else really to. Interestingly, Joey Estes is up to 3.5 star potential. He is 25, so I don't know if he'll actually reach that potential, and he's not doing particularly well in AAA, although he has super high BABIP, so maybe some of that is bad luck. We'll see. But he's potentially a guy to keep an eye on, especially if we need someone to fill in that fifth starter spot as we look to kind of juggle guys around here. Anyone else of note in our pen at the moment? Kyle Freeland, could also move up to take that spot sooner rather than later. I mean, we're already paying him for this season, so I don't mind necessarily making that move. And then Vargas has done well in AAA, but not well enough to warrant a call-up. Matos is doing well in AAA. I want to see him get some more reps down there before calling him back up to the big league level. And yeah, we did bring up Billy Carlson to Double-A, where he's done okay so far. He's still a few years away, but only 20 years old, and he could be our shortstop of the future if everything breaks well. So looking forward to that. And we do have Liam Peterson back from injury. He's only made one start, but it was a scoreless appearance, 4 1/3, 81 pitches off of injury. We'll definitely take that. So yeah, let's keep going through May. Okay, so it's June 1st, and we are making a splash here at 27-30. I guess this would be a win now trade. This is a trade that I think makes a lot of sense, both for winning now and for the future. We've got Murakami, who is expiring this year, who has not done great this season, but he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of power. Teams, I mean, he is only 27 years old, so teams, are probably still interested in that. Zach Veen is 25 and doing well in AAA. He looks to be, a solid outfielder. And then Joe Mack, who has done well in limited time at AAA, but is he going to be a starting catcher? I don't know. But in terms of where our team is lacking right now, we need a starting shortstop and we need a fifth starter. So what we're doing here is we're getting Joey Ortiz from the Brewers, who has really gotten off to a great start this season, on pace for 5.8 WAR. Even if he drops down a little bit, I think that's fine. He is due money in arbitration this year. He's also due $6.5 million next year, but we have the money to pay that. If we get another shortstop, we can shift him around the infield a bit, or even to the outfield if necessary. I mean, ideally you want that defense somewhere in the infield. And he hasn't put up amazing numbers at shortstop this year with only 0.3 ZR, but with 75 range, he should put up solid numbers. So, yeah, that kind of solves that issue. And then we're also getting back Mizorowski, who they've been using as their closer. He's down to 35 stamina, which is a little concerning, but that's still high enough where he could be starting. And if we look at his ratings as a starting pitcher, he still projects as a 3-star overall. He is also still just 25 years old. not even into arbitration yet, so that could be a valuable get for us if he, works out as a starter. Um, yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense, both for now and for the future. And we save about $7 million by we do retain a little bit of Murakami's salary, but what we're getting back is salary wise way less than what we're giving out. So that gives us some flexibility to maybe make some more trades at the trade deadline. But I don't want to necessarily wait till the trade deadline. Kind of trying to figure out what to do with Murakami, and this is, I think, the best offer. I mean, shopping Murakami, there were a lot of good offers for him. Let me see if I can. We were like searching for a shortstop. But yeah, if we go here, you can see there was tons of interest for him. Evan Carter is an interesting name, but our outfield is already looking pretty decent. They also went ahead and locked him up long term, which could be worth it, could not. We'll see. Yeah, Evan Carter, and he's 24, so I don't know. There were some good-looking Phillies prospects. Francisco Renteria looks good, but is still only 18. Is he going to grow into that development? I don't know. A lot of like solid relievers. You could do Yandy Diaz or Wilson Contreras back. Jack Cag, who also looks solid, but our biggest need was shortstop, I think, in terms of where we're kind of lacking at the moment. So, and then getting Bizarowski back as well is just an added bonus. Two very solid players who should help us win now and should stay good for the foreseeable future. So I'm going to make this trade. And we trade for an all-star. Nice. All right. And yeah, I'll show what our rosters look like here after I do some retooling, and we'll go over where we currently stand at June 1st. All right, so post Joey Ortiz trade, we are 27-30. I haven't actually simmed any games since the trade, but just kind of a June 1st check-in as well. 27-30, but still only 3 games back in the division. The Guardians now up in first place. This division is very much up for grabs, I'd say. Yeah, and we have our rotation set as Mizorowski's going to take our number 1 slot in the rotation for now. We'll see how he does in that role. Noah Schultz in our number 2. Shane Smith down to number 3 because he has, I'd say, struggled again to start the season. ERA over 5. You don't love to see that. And then Dollander and Messick both doing fine, I'd say. Gratterall and Taylor both have ERAs higher than I would like. We'll see if those go down at all. The rest of the bullpen, honestly, doing pretty fine. Even AJ Minter, his ERA has gone down a bit. We'll see if maybe we can work him back into high leverage spots, but everyone else at the bullpen doing just fine, so we'll have to see how that goes. And then our new look lineup with Joey Ortiz in here versus right-handed pitching. We're going to have Baldwin playing first, even though he can't really play first. That should go up fairly quickly. And I'd rather have him at first and Antonacci at second than vice versa, I think. Antonacci doing quite well in limited time so far. And then Montgomery's going to stick at third with Ortiz at short. And then Luis Lara doing decently well. Everson Pereira has struggled to start the season, so he's been relegated to backup outfielder against righties. Caro we'll have to see too. Right now, he's our starting DH, but again, struggling at the big league level. We'll have to see if that sticks there. And then against lefties, the lineup shifts a little bit. Charlie Condon takes over first base. And then Baldwin, Montgomery, Ortiz. Antonasi does not hit lefties well, being a left-handed hitter, so he gets the bench slot. And then Hill takes over at left field. Robert and Lara, because Chase DeLauder also does not hit lefties well. Cameron Colley, I'm still not sure what to do against him or with him. He's kind of sticking around the lineup for now, but he's kind of the odd man out. Not good enough to start or even play against anyone right now. But I don't really have anyone else that can play a decent shortstop at the moment. I think we're still waiting for. No, we're not waiting for Arias to come back, but he's struggled at AAA. Bonham probably not ready yet and only has a 45 rating at shortstop anyway, so that could still be an area of need. Miguel Vargas actually absolutely crushing at AAA, and could see a call up sooner rather than later. I wonder if he's going to end up being like a quad A type player, but we'll have to see. But yeah, this should be a more competitive lineup from top to bottom, and I'm interested to see how we do now as we go into June. The draft combine's coming up shortly. I took a quick glance at the draft pool when it was revealed earlier. Looks a lot better than last year's. I think that's just a quirk of having a real class versus a generated one. The generated ones tend to be better overall from what I've seen. But yeah, we'll sim ahead a few days to the draft combine, and I'll kind of talk about my thoughts. We do have the second overall pick, so we've got almost our choice of anyone again that we want to draft. So we'll have to see who looks interesting out there. I think there were a few players I had my eye on already, so let's see how that goes. So we have made it to the draft combine. 30 and 31, by the way, which is nice to see. We're improving slightly. We'll see if that keeps up to the 15th. But yeah, you can see this class just looks better overall than the last one. Even the amount of like 3.5-star players is way above what there was in last year's draft. Yeah, so I grabbed batters and then pitchers. Just look at how many 5-star pitchers are available. Most of them are 18 years old. But the crazy thing is, here's a guy out of college who I do like, Chris Livonas. He looks pretty similar to the guy that we drafted first overall last year. But then there's guys like Alex Acosta, who's basically the same skill level and same potential, but 18 years old. Gian Pietro Bailey, kind of same deal. It's just very, very good draft overall. So when you have the second overall pick, how do you choose? This is who I'm going for. I think Andy Bartolota just looks like he's basically not quite major league ready, but very, very close. He could probably play decently at the major league level right away. but ideally you'll start him in Double A or Triple A and get him a little bit of time in the minors. But basically everything here is likable. His speed is okay, but yeah, everything else, his all of his hitting is above average. He's got 80 potential power, which I love to see. At least 60 potential contact. His defense is above average. Probably with that arm, would want to make him a third baseman, and I think that's like a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, probably, or close to it. And then there's several other hitters I like in here too, but yeah, Bartolota is for sure the guy. If we look at like Ben Buckles, looks pretty okay despite only having 4-star overall or 4-star potential. Like pretty similar profile. He's just a year older and not quite as much like power potential, but I would still be happy to take him. And then even guys like Craig Callahan, um, you know, he kind of gives me pause too because he is an 18-year-old that could probably play with no issues at Double A right away. So yeah, lots of interesting players to choose from here. I think Bartolota will be the guy, but we'll have to wait and see how that pans out, how our scout, if those ratings change at all. And, we do have one team ahead of us, too. So if the Reds choose Bartolota, who's currently projected to go 7th, but we'll have to see. And then Mitch Schroeder, too, is a guy that's not at the combine, but also looks pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily mind taking him. Typically like taking those like college guys, like Buckles or Bartolota or Schroeder. Their floor is just a lot higher than the high schoolers most of the time, but a lot of these high schoolers look like they have a high floor as well, so we'll have to see. But yeah, that's my draft combine choices, and then you saw who I am watching here. We'll see if any of these ratings go up, go down, and our scout will get more accurate on all of them, and yeah, we'll roll into the draft here. I'll probably do another quick pause June 15th to update on record and happenings and all that good stuff, but that's gonna be the next stop here. All right, so it is June 16th. I assumed I had one more day, but yeah, it's not looking great at the moment. We're 32 and 38, 7 games back from the Guardians, who are currently leading the division. Yeah, kind of a weird situation where I guess we're only 4.5 games out of a wild card spot, but there's a lot of teams ahead of us. Versus if you look at the NL, like there's 4 teams competing for a wild card spot that are 500 or above, and everyone else is below 500 with a worse record than us. So that's kind of a weird one there. Yeah. Anyway, the trade I'd say has been a mixed bag so far. Let's look at the good first, which is that Joey Ortiz has continued his hitting streak and hasn't missed a beat. He's got high adaptability. I think that helps out. But yeah, he's in 12 games putting up almost identical OPS what he was doing in Milwaukee. Also providing plus defense. Very slightly plus defense, but still plus defense at shortstop. So we will take that. Pitching wise, though, Muzorowski has not been great. And the other really disappointing thing is immediately after trading for him, his stamina dropped from 35 to 30, which is probably lower than you should have for a starting pitcher. You can see his starts that he's done so far. He's gone, 71 pitches, 82 pitches, 68 pitches. That's not really what you want your starter doing. So we're going to try this. I just switched this over so that he will be a follower instead. So we're going to have an opener with him as a follower and basically have a bullpen day whenever he's pitching. I think that's probably the best way to use him at the moment. We also sent down both Gratterall and David Sandlin, who had ERAs above 4, and we're going to try out Anthony Kay at closer, given that he has been excellent coming out of the pen so far this season. I'd like to see how he does in that situation. And then Felipe De La Cruz, our other Rule 5 pick, is off the injury list and did well in his rehab starts at AAA, so we're going to give him a shot at the big league level as well. Also, Bryce Elder is coming up in long relief, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think I pointed out too, Luis Robert Jr. having an excellent season so far. This is pretty much better than I could have hoped for when signing him. I mean, we signed him mainly for his defense, which he is definitely providing in center field, but then his offense has been excellent as well. 132 OPS plus, on pace for a 5 WAR season, which would be great. And then Colson Montgomery hasn't missed a beat when shifting over to third base. Still not providing great defense at third base, but the hitting is making up for it here. Having that boost to his avoid Ks, I think, has helped out a lot. He struck out almost 200 times last year, is on pace for just 130 this year, which would be a nice reduction there. And I'm sure that's one of the main reasons why he's hitting better this year. Chase DeLauder also having a good season, on pace for 4.7 WAR. In case you're curious too, the last time I checked, Austin Hayes was hurt. He's missed the entire beginning of the season for Cleveland so far. They haven't needed him, apparently, since they're in first place at the moment. But so far we, I think, look to have gotten the better end of that deal. In negative news, this is positive news. Vargas has been absolutely crushing at AAA, so he's going to get another shot at the big league level. We'll see if he can bring these numbers up here. Edgar Caro struggling again. I actually am going out and trying to find, looked out to see if there were any catchers available in free agency, and the Cubs let Miguel Amaya go, which is mildly surprising. So we're going to bring in either him or Jorge Alfaro as our backup catcher, I think. And Caro will get sent down once that happens. Still not sure what to do about Cameron Cawley. I'm kind of hesitant to let him go, but at the same time, he's not providing good value at the big league level. Everson Pereira also struggling this season so far, which is unfortunate given that he had a good year last year. And he's also out of options, so I can't send him down to the minors. Brooks Baldwin only having an okay season compared to his relatively good 2.2 WAR last season. So, that's kind of the outlook of our entire team at the moment. Not too much else to say. We're going to see how Mizorowski does as a follower. And prospects, Liam Peterson is back from injury, has made 6 starts at Double A, looking good so far. He will probably get a promotion to Triple A here, assuming this keeps up. Um, Maybe in July. Either beginning or middle of July, depending on how things look. I'm going to see if he can get to about 2 WAR total. That's usually what I look for. The numbers definitely look good. The ratings look good enough, I'd say. So once he achieves that number, kind of arbitrary, but I think that will be the time to move him up. Billy Carlson also on his way as well. Still kind of experimenting with him as a pitcher. Um, I probably should just stop having him be a two-way player. There's really no reason for it because that those pitching ratings are never going to be anything. But I don't know. It doesn't seem to be hurting him at the moment, so we'll see. Yeah, pitching development. Yeah, it's kind of whatever at the moment. He's pitched a whole 2 innings at Double A so far, so he's mainly playing shortstop and then getting pitching work in every once in a while, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know what to do there. I mean, he's definitely not pitching at the big league level, but it doesn't really hurt to have him do it in the minors at the moment. I don't know. We'll see. Eric Becker, close to a promotion, and in fact, I may bump him up to Double A right now. I still need to go through and check the rest of our minor leagues and see if there's any other guys that deserve a promotion here. I don't know if there's any other guys to watch at Triple A who are kind of on the cusp. Jonathan Diaz putting up pretty good numbers, I guess, after getting sent down early in the season. He could maybe find his way back up. Judix Paez is putting up good numbers. We may look to try starting him potentially, depending on how the Mizorowski at follower experiment goes. Where did Kyle Freeland go? Oh, he is hurt. He, was actually putting up pretty good numbers at AAA. Has not pitched at the big league level yet this season, but that's unfortunate. And then Luis Matos doing well in AAA could maybe see a promotion back up here as well. So, that's pretty much it. Gonna keep going through the rest of June here. Excited to get to the first year player draft this year with the second overall pick and what looks to be a better class overall. I'll have to see how that plays out, but first we got to get through June and the first part of July. So, see if this is a team that we want to try to compete with or if it's another kind of rebuilding season. I would take a 500 season even. We project to be at least better than last year, even with our current record. Let's see how things go here the rest of June. We're kind of in that weird in-between zone where, if we win a few more games, we could maybe make a push and be a playoff team, but especially in a weak division. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. So, through the rest of July we go. It is July 1st, and we are 39-43 after going 12-13 in the month of June. So, playing almost 500 ball. This probably is still not a playoff team, but it's getting closer at least. In third place in the division, 8 games back, 5 games out of a wild card spot. We'll have to see. I mean, we'll see how July goes. I would love to be a buyer at the trade deadline, but it seems like we'll probably be sellers instead. Yeah, we'll have to see. Despite making the trade for Mizorowski and Ortiz, yeah, who have both done well. I mean, Ortiz is down, his OPS is down to a 99, which is unfortunate, but um, Mizorowski has come around a bit. I've been experimenting using him as a follower, and that seemed to go pretty well in this start here. He went 57 pitches, gave up no earned runs, and then in this start, even though I have him set to be a follower, we didn't use an opener for some reason, but he went 88 pitches in that one, so kind of weird. I don't know. I'm going to keep, experimenting with this. It's possible Mizorowski goes back to the pen. We've got some guys down in AAA that could maybe get called up correspondingly. We'll see. Keeping an eye on Bryce Elder and Felipe De La Cruz, who have both kind of struggled to start their time in the bullpen so far. They could get sent down or released in the case of De La Cruz. We'll have to see. Noah Schultz has been our ace so far this year. Sub 3 ERA. He's getting that number one spot over Shane Smith, who has struggled again to keep his ERA under 5. Yeah, just not playing up to what you'd expect from his ratings, I think. Yeah, also trying some tweaks to the lineup here as we brought up Adis Leonard and Luis Matos, and correspondingly, we are sending down Everson Pereira. If he makes it through waivers, there is some trade interest in him, but I want to hopefully see if he can make it through waivers. He's 26 years old and out of options, so I don't know if he will or not. But if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, he was just really struggled to start the season after having a good season last year, and I'd rather that backup outfield spot go to someone like Matos, who, he didn't do well for us last year, but has started the year well at AAA. So, and we're paying him already for arbitration, so I want to bring him back up to the big league level and kind of see what we've got there before making any other decisions here. We did bring in Miguel Amaya as well for our backup catcher spot, and very limited sample size, but it's encouraging so far for sure. Yeah, he's hitting well, and that's all you can really ask for your backup catcher so far. So we're gonna see if we can ride that bat, and keep him at DH and also starting a catcher every 5th game. No other surprise starters here. I think Vargas is also getting the start at DH every other game, because despite having a negative .5 WAR overall, he is hitting with an OPS plus of 104 against righties. It's just lefties he's really struggling this year. 59 OPS plus, -2 WAR. Well, that's across Major League and AAA. Numbers are even worse when you just look at MLB. But anyway, yeah, so Vargas will be in there. Vargas will not be anywhere near the starting lineup against left-handed pitching. We've got Amaya starting at catcher just to give him extra time in there, with Teal starting every other game, and then Teal DHing there, with Matos getting the start against lefties and Leonard getting the start against lefties. Both those guys playing as backups against righties, so they'll get some playing time in there as well. Yeah, and I'm interested to see how this team adjusts in July. If we find ourselves above 500 in the middle of July, maybe we look to be buyers at the trade deadline. I don't know. Either way, I don't think we're going to be aggressive buyers. Someone like Liam Peterson is pretty much untouchable as far as I'm concerned. Barring some absolutely ridiculous trade offer for him, I don't think he's going to get moved. I want to see what he can do. He's moved up to AAA after a solid start at AA for the year. And if all goes well, maybe we'll see him in September. Maybe not. We'll have to see how his AAA stint goes. Eric Becker done well in A plus, and he's moved up to AA. And then we've got Billy Carlson, who's also doing quite well at AA. Kind of in between whether to promote him or not right now. These hitting ratings I'd like to see be a little bit better. His overall looks good to promote him, but maybe I'll hold off for a little bit to see if these improve a bit more before promoting him. I don't know. He's hurt right now at the moment anyway, so we got some time to potentially figure that out. And then, I guess we'll keep going through July here. First year player draft will be the next interesting thing. May go ahead and sim to the All-Star game after that, and then end things there. Maybe I'll end it right after the draft. Either way, this episode will end somewhere in the middle of July, where we'll have to make a decision whether we're going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. We're kind of in that in-between zone right now. I will say we're not going to make aggressive moves in either direction, I would say. Again, barring some absolutely ridiculous offers out there, but someone like Gratterall, we could look to move for sure, given that he's struggled at the big league level, and his, we've got him signed through 2029, but those are team options that I'm not exactly thrilled about picking up. So basically a 1-year deal, and then I'll have to look and see who else is basically on a 1-year deal. Jordan Hicks, if there's interest in him. Kyle Freeland, I doubt there's interest in him. Tyler Mahle is coming back from injury. Eric Lauer is at AAA and not pitching particularly well at AAA. Guys that we would look to trade, like JP Sears. Is there interest in JP Sears? I'm perfectly happy trading him. Kevin Ginkel, by the way, blew out his arm or his shoulder and is out for the rest of the season. So he's someone that we only had on a 1-year deal, so he will not be coming back next season, most likely. Miguel Vargas, if there's value there, we could maybe look to trade him, given that he's basically DHing right now. We'll have to start thinking about this. I think these are guys that we could move regardless of if we are buyers or sellers at the deadline. They're not really guys that are helping us win, as Murakami has continued to struggle for the Brewers this season. He's just hasn't put it together yet. So far, we are getting the better end of that trade, I think, but hard to, say that for sure. Yeah, as Zach Veen has struggled at the big league level, and Joe Mack's done well for them, but only across 7 games. So anyway, let's keep going. The next interesting thing will be the first-year player draft, where we have the 2nd overall pick. So I'm excited to get into that. All right, so it is July 11th, and we've had our first major injury here. Kyle Teal sprained thumb out for 5 weeks. He was having a good season, and our catching depth not amazing at the moment. Miguel Amaya has been doing well in very limited time. He's also hurt, which I don't love. We're having him play through a minimal injury at the moment, and then we're bringing up Drew Romo to back him up currently. It's either him or Caro, and Caro has continued to struggle when we've brought him up to the big league level. So, yeah, we're going with that, and also splitting time between Leonard, Vargas, and Amaya for our DH spot. Leonard has done well in limited spot starts so far, so we'll see how that goes. As Matos has struggled a little bit in 2 games. Anyway, yeah, we are to the first year player draft. Yeah, we're going to go through that and then give a draft summary and give my thoughts on where we stand in terms of the trade deadline. Yeah, I mean, 4 games under 500, we should be sellers rather than buyers, I think. 9 games back in the division, 5.5 games out of a wild card spot in what looks to be a pretty competitive AL wild card race. Yeah, we could get hot, but and we are wasting what is turned out to be a great Colson Montgomery season. He's on pace for 6 WAR. That move to third base, really, I mean, he's still putting up negative ZR, but it's way less than he did last year. Negative 11 at shortstop. So I think that's helping his value a bit, as is the avoid K's boost that he got in the offseason. Yeah, he's on pace for just 136 strikeouts as opposed to almost 200 last year. So yeah, just hitting the ball better in general. OPS plus is way up as well, almost, or actually over double currently what he had last year. So anyway, first year player draft. We have the second overall pick, which is nice. The only bad thing is there is one player that I have my eye on currently, and that is Andy Bartolota. He just looks like the clear number 1 pick to me. He's 22, but just turned 22. Put up great numbers in college, continuing to put up great numbers in the MLB Draft League. So what that means is that, yeah, he'll have to keep playing in the Draft League, which is interesting because I don't remember when the Draft League actually stops. Let's see. I bet I can find that out. MLB Draft League. It goes through August, so he's someone that we probably wouldn't look to call up until September at the soonest anyway, but I do want to try training him at third base as well. Kind of counting my chickens here a little bit because I don't know who the Reds are going to take with their number 1 pick. OSA mock draft has them taking him in the most recent mock draft. Okay, so I might need to come up with a backup plan, but hopefully they will take someone else. Mitch Schroeder also looks interesting, as does Ben Buckles. But man, I would really hate to miss out on Bartolota. There's quite a few 5-star potential guys out there. Craig Callahan is another guy that looks interesting, only being 18 years old. But I think Bartolota is the clear pick, and he's got high work ethic, and yeah, just really everything you would want from a prospect. Pretty solid defense, really good hitting stats. His speed's, I guess, not amazing, but that's not anything to be concerned about, really. So, yeah, so let's start the draft, and hopefully the mock draft is wrong, and Cincinnati does not take Bartolotto with the number one pick. Um, if they do, we'll have to pivot, but yeah, let's see who we got here. Okay, they take Steve Moneybag Ricks, who looks interesting, but 18-year-old pitcher. Um, yeah, but that makes my first pick easy. As our scout wants us to take Jim Numbers Lasky. I mean, he looks solid as well. Pretty good looking draft overall. Under normal circumstances, I think I would not mind that pick. But yeah, Bartolotto's got to be the pick here. He just looks, really well developed and has a high floor in addition to a high ceiling. So that's the pick for sure. No doubt in my mind. All right. Then round two, well, let's see who is still available from our shortlist. Danny Obermeyer. Okay. I mean, he looks fairly solid for a second round pick. And then pitchers, there's still Hector Ramirez is still available. Okay. And then Chris Levinas is still available. Little more advanced ratings. And then if we clear our filter, what does it look like? Batting draft. Yeah, the bats seem a lot thinner than the pitching does. Yeah, because even someone like Rich Meadows, yeah, I don't love him with the 20 overall control. Phil McCormick is fragile. Don't love that. Levinas. Our scout suggests Hector Ramirez. Okay. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree. The only thing that gives me pause is just that the top of the batting draft looks a lot. I kind of want to draft more bats for our minor league system. But is a 19-year-old the pick? I mean, he could potentially start in A ball, still be a ways away. And if we look to get someone like Blaine Brown, he doesn't have a high enough potential, I think, to warrant taking in the second round. Yeah, he would have to start at A ball or maybe A plus. Still. Meanwhile, Hector Ramirez, I mean, he would also have to likely start, yeah, at A ball. Yeah. Okay, so given that, I kind of want to take Obermeyer. I guess let's look and see between the two. We've got Obermeyer and Hector Ramirez. And Levinas. We'll throw him in there too. who is projected to go higher? Ramirez projected to go in the first round. Levinas projected to go in the second round, a few picks after us. Obermeyer at the top of the third. Okay. So interesting. Like, they would project to all be gone by the time our next. Well, Obermeyer we could potentially grab with our next pick. So do we take a pitcher here? And do we look at Levinas? Because he could maybe start at AA, 21 years old. That might be a better pick than Ramirez, who is still a ways away but has better potential. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Levinas here, actually. Slightly higher demand, too, but I think that's fine. We've got a lot of money budgeted for the draft, and I think our first round pick was under slot anyway. So let's go with Levinas. And Ramirez is gone. What about Obermeyer? Obermeyer's still here. Clint Corbett. I don't love that power. Same with Mike Gainey. Mike Moyer's not the play. Nelson Villalpando is still really raw. Yeah, I like Obermeyer here. Cool, so we could still get him in the third round. I'm all right with that. And then now I think we look to take another pitcher. As Rich Meadows still available with 5-star potential, but I don't love his control. Phil McCormick, I think I looked at before. Do we go to a 3-star potential? Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys that are highly rated, high potential, have super low control potential. So, like, Rich Meadows, his stuff is great, but then his control and movement, honestly, not amazing. Versus someone like Matthew Brown, who doesn't excel in anything, but his control, I guess his control max is still only 42. What if we did overall and looked at Caleb Applebay? He's 24. I guess, are there any of the relievers that look promising? Not really. Okay. So I thought this would be a deep draft, and it looks more like a top-heavy draft now, from what I can tell. Because now I'm really struggling to find guys in the 4th round that I really like. Okay. Jordan Walker is a maybe. He's probably a guy that, yeah, his potential dropped from a 3.5 to a 3, which I don't love. Okay, what if I do just college players? Man, there's no 3-star college players left. It's all 2.5-star and lower. There's very few bats left that are above 3 stars in general. So in that case, do we just take someone like Josh Simmons, who is raw but looks decently well-rounded and still has like 30 potential at age 18? So like, could he play at A ball? No, probably not. But he could play at rookie league ball, but that won't start until next year. All right, what if we did this? Sort by overall. Okay, so there's 4 players that could play in A ball. Gary Merrow's one. He has actually got 2-star potential. I don't love the personality, but it's not the worst either. Okay, and then John Hedrick. He looks fairly solid. And then who was the last guy? No Hernandez and Rich Heron. Okay. Our scout suggests Kenny Slaughter, who I think is not the pick. All right, let's go with I want to request scouting reports on all these guys real quick. Gary Merrow projected to be a 2nd-round pick. John Hedrick projected to be a 4th-round pick. And the others not in here at all. Okay. Well, does that mean if I pick Gary Merrow that Josh Simmons would potentially still be out there? Yeah, because his OSA ratings are not the best. Our scout is higher on him than others are. Okay, so let's go with the higher floor pick, I guess, in Gary Merrow. Yeah, we're going to try Merrow. And then we'll see who's still out there. John Hedrick's still out there. Josh Simmons still out there. Okay. Phil McCormick's still out there. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. What is the OSA consensus on him? Still low. I think this is where we take a chance on the high schooler. And then Hedrick's still out there. Okay, cool. So sweet. We got all three of the guys that we were looking for. And now I want to see who's left in pitching, because I have not been drafting very many pitchers. James Watley. Let me see, what does it look like for college pitchers? Because again, I think I'd rather draft for ups or draft for floor. Austin Nye, I don't love the 35 control. Kyle Kipp does not look super impressive. Owen Egan, Chris Billingsley. Really like his personality makeup. Stuff is already at 40. Yeah, I think I'll go with Billingsley over Wadley. Watley's still available. And we will take him there. Garrett Savard. Cole Selvig. How about Quincy Toller? Low IQ, but high leader. Already has higher current ratings than a lot of other 18-year-olds. Yeah. I like that pick, I think. Quincy Toller. Closer Art Fadden. That is an interesting looking closer. Let's go back to batters here, as we are to the 10th round already. So I'll do the rest off camera here, but Kenny Slaughter, I know they wanted us to take, and honestly, and Josh Twyman. The 70 power's intriguing, I guess, but I hate the avoid K's and gap. Like, that's a little rough. Okay. Yeah, he's an interesting player archetype anyway, and he's got a fun name, Twyman. So we'll make him our 10th pick, our 10th round pick, and then yeah, we'll do the rest of the draft off camera and kind of wrap up the episode after that. So yeah, look forward to that shortly. So here is our final draft class. You can see batters here, nothing too exciting to point out, I'd say, and then with kind of pitcher heavy in the bottom part of the draft. So ended up with a decent amount of 2.5-star pitchers. And then, of course, our I think all of these guys were drafted on camera. Total demand was around $12 million, just over 12 million, I think. So not bad. We budgeted for 15 mil, I think. So yeah, definitely under budget, and yeah, looking good. So the next big thing to worry about will be the trade deadline, and yeah, we're not looking too competitive at the moment, I'd say. Yeah, this should be a selling team. I might struggle to find people to sell on our selling team. Guys like Benintendi, like, I don't know if anyone's going to want him after he's played in the minors all year. Luis Robert, we're not looking to sell. Dominguez, we're still paying his salary, but we already sold him. How's he doing? Oh, he's struggling for San Francisco this year. Okay. Jordan Hicks, if people will trade for him. Kyle Freeland, if people will trade for him. Maybe Anthony Kay, who's done decently well out of the bullpen. Tyler Mahle, who is hurt but close to returning. Murakami, we already traded. Lauer has been pitching at AAA and struggling. So yeah, we've got like not a ton of guys that I'm looking to move. So it may be kind of not a super interesting trade deadline. We've got like a decent core, I'd say, that we're just working on building up a bit more. Really, the Ortiz for Murakami trade was kind of our big move, I think. And oh, by the way, the Mizorowski as follower experiment has officially come to an end, and we've called up Hurst and Waldrop to take our 5th starter spot. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, maybe we could look to get a 5th starter if there's one that's available and under like multiple years of control. Maybe that would make sense. I don't know. Like, yeah, like DeGrom has a team option for $20 million next year, but does it make sense to give up whatever they would want for him, which would be, yeah, Grant Taylor? Probably not, considering we've got Grant Taylor for a while still. And then guys like Zach Wheeler or Glasnow, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe we could get someone like this for cheaper since they're hurt for a long period of time and kind of look towards next season. Like, I don't know if that picks up on the camera or on the microphone, but my cat is wanting lots of attention. Okay. But yeah, I mean, this is not actually an awful trade. Get Glasnow basically for next season. Maybe I'll explore something like that. Kind of look towards the future. Trade for a veteran that's hurt. Because, like, yeah, Davis Martin, he's, possibly arbitration eligible next year, but he's not someone I would really look to extend arbitration to. I mean, we'll have to see. And then AJ Minter, he's done well at the big league level, but is only under contract for 1 year. So, yeah, he might be someone we explore trading. As we see Let's see what kind of prospects we could get for AJ Minter. Devin Williams is interesting. Ryan Johnson is interesting. It's like, do we want more pitching? I mean, he's been doing quite well and is only 24 years old. Okay, well, this is maybe a preview for next episode as AJ Minter became an interesting name to explore here. Yeah, we'll have to see who on our team is actually worth trading, what kind of offers we get for them. Definitely looking towards the future more than this season. But if we get a guy that can help this season, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it, as long as it's focused on the future as well. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.